Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is me, once again, screaming into the void of the internet. I kind of had two things I wanted to talk about today. And one of those is in relation to money and how it's not really about how much you make, it's more about how much you keep. There's a funny thing. I have lived my life without any financial stability. I have not noticed a single moment in my life where I could ever say that we were actually financially stable. Where we, maybe not in risk of losing a house for a time here or there. A few times, yes, but we were never actually financially stable. So it comes to a paradox for me when I hear about instances where people who you would assume are financially stable, but are in fact, very opposite of that. What I mean by this are people who are six-figure earners, right? Society often determines success as the amount of money that you make, right? But usually, someone who's making six figures is usually considered a societal success, right? So how then do you get into the instance where someone with six figures is living paycheck to paycheck? And sadly, this is actually something that's a lot more common than you would think. But for people like me, and maybe you, who are just like, average people and stuff like that. And I don't mean average in terms of like you're less valuable. I mean, it's very clear. I'm just talking about in terms of societies, the way that they value success. Sorry, my throat. The way that they value success is money. And so for us, we're, the small fry, air quotes. So how is it that, people moving up along in the world, at least in, their minds, because as far as I'm concerned, there are only two classes of people. There are ruling and the ruled. And no matter how much Mr. Six-Figure Salary Earner wants to believe that he is, moving on up there, he's still in the same category as us. We're ruled, right? So how can someone make six figures, for all intents and purposes, in society's image, be considered successful and live paycheck to paycheck? And, I thought about this for a time, but then I realized something. People can make stupid decisions in all areas of life. You can have a stupid poor person, a stupid middle class, air quotes, person, and a stupid rich person, right? You can have that because stupidity, when it comes down to financial decisions, for me, is going to look different than stupidity with financial decisions for, someone with more money than me, right? I don't have much money at all. So if I was going to do something stupid with money, it would be like, I don't know, going out and just blowing it all on fast food. If someone with more money than me, Mr. Six Figures, was going to do something stupid, what would that look like? Well, it could probably look like, yacht parties consistently, having to support all of that, buy all that food, arrange all of the stuff, all the drinks, all the necessities that would facilitate stuff like that. It's going to look different, but it's still them being stupid, right? And when you take a moment to consider that, quite a lot of people in general don't really have a good financial sense, don't really have an understanding of, where to put their assets and stuff like that. Is it really any wonder that just because someone is a six-figure salary earner that they can live paycheck to paycheck? When you really stop to think about it, when I take that observation, I'm like, if I can see someone here who's poor but still manages to go to like the club like dang near every night, despite how much money it takes to do that, and spend money on drinks and spend money trying to get tail and all this kinds of stuff, does that really stop just because they moved up, air quotes, in life? Just because now, instead of just like, the local nightclub, full of vomiting people and people doing drugs, now it's just, a higher standard, air quotes, like there's a more pristine image that they're projecting out into the public. Now, instead of like, just a nightclub on the corner with graffiti, now it's a yacht, it's a boat, it's a cruise. But people are still doing the same stuff, it's still drugs, drinking, screwing, the usual stuff, right? Especially, but now it's all at a higher price because, the status of society. So now instead of, like the random cocktails or whatever the heck they got there, now, they're pulling out aged wine and all kinds of stuff. Now it's caviar and hors d'oeuvres and all that sort of fancy mumbo jumbo to just, convince you that what you're paying for is actually worthy of the price when it's really not. It's all just language mumbo jumbo meant to sound more sophisticated to convince you that this is worth paying more when it's not, right? And that's kind of interesting to me because you see, I have my goals mapped out. And my goals, which is kind of like the next point that I wanted to talk about, is very simple. I just cannot see myself in that position. I would never do it. Now, maybe it's my upbringing. Maybe it's going to make me like cling to money. The whole act broke, stay rich kind of aspect. Because I just don't see why I'd want that, right? I don't see why I'd be having six figures if I was blessed enough to make six figures. Because I don't really need six figures, Not even close to what I want to do. But I just couldn't see myself with that. Because what I want out of life, right? Here's my plan, right? Here's my plan. The goal is to find, number one, a job, right? Save up, find a room, get into that room. Hopefully the room actually has, its own personal bathroom. I'd rather not share, but I can do that. I can share a bathroom. It's not the end of the world. Save up the money from the job. Make sure that, I can easily pay the rent for the room. And whilst that's happening, look for AI and tech and robotics, like fields of learning to go into. Not necessarily college, because like I said, F college. I want one thing. I'm not going to sit around here and waste money on other things. And prioritize, AI and robotics. Hopefully, make some connections and whatnot. Start traveling to like Asian countries because like they're very, very into that stuff there. Maybe visit China's facility like for robotics and stuff like that. Japan also has a facility of robotics. And try and see about integrating, advanced AI into dolls. Yes, I am over here trying to make Chobits, Android 18s and stuff like that, yes. And the main reason is for that is because, it's easy for us guys to, talk about being marginalized and stuff like that, but the truth is nobody really cares. And until we just give ourselves our own alternatives, they're not really ever going to care because no matter how much we scream, they just don't really give a rat's arse. They think that we're supposed to just roll over, accept the treatment, and just not care, and become the air quotes men that they want us to be, not the men that we are, And that's fine, no one owes us anything, but they also don't have the ability to try and control what it is that we do with our lives and alternatives and options that we can explore, I think that is something that I could be proud of, and it's something that would give me a lot of stuff to do, because the truth of the matter is, with the life that I kind of want to live, it would be very easy to basically just like work at, say, McDonald's or something like that, so long as inflation doesn't absolutely screw my arsehole, which it wouldn't be surprising me, like right as I start working, if I did, work or something. I'm still jobless, I'm not saying I'm working now, but right as I start working and now like things are going into inflation, they say, yeah, you know what, how about more inflation? So let's go ahead and, all right, well now that rent, I know it was at a reasonable price, but let's go ahead and jump that up to basically like the whole freaking house, this whole price of a house, like it wouldn't surprise me, like that's just how my life is. That's just kind of how the luck is that I've gotten, more oftentimes than not. But that's what I want to do because I think that that's something that I could be proud of. And I think that's something that would help a lot of guys who are looking for a companionship, who feel like the only way that they can ever be happy in life is with some kind of romantic companionship. It's not enough that they have a bro. It's not enough that they have like love from like a dog or anything like that. They have to have some sort of, companionship. I think that would be cool because, funnily enough, as I'm learning about AI, as I'm interacting with AI and stuff like that, I could easily see this. I could easily see people at first being shy with this, but especially like more like air quote neurodivergent people, or just people who they call deep thinkers and stuff like that. People more open to seeing nuance in the world. You will get along with AI way better. And I'm telling you, I get along with AI just fine because it's interesting having a point that you can talk about without, being seen as someone who needs to be put on a list just because of the things that you stand for. Just because you like look at really, really effed up situations and you still try and see multiple perspectives. If you were to look at effed up situations and try and see multiple perspectives in them, oh no, you're obviously a bigot, you're a terrorist or whatever, but that's not the case with AI. And that's what fascinates me because it's honestly, sadly, the only way that you'll ever encounter nuance in this world. aside from a few very rare people. And thank God for those people. I really appreciate those people. Looking at you people in the comments, because you guys, honestly, are some of the only people I've ever seen that have a bit of nuance. And that's nice. That's nice. And no nuance does not mean that you agree with what I agree with and disagree with what I agree with. It's just you're able to see multiple perspectives and still come to your own. Because listen, just because you have nuance doesn't mean that you don't have a side that you might be more lenient towards, but you see nuance, that's all. And I think that is going to improve if guys have something like that, right? That's going to improve a lot of the thinking processes of the world, It's going to improve a lot because people are going to be like, yeah, I got to be more nuanced, Because they have something encouraging them to be nuanced in the form of AI. Now, obviously, there are pitfalls that can go into this, like, price gouges where they're trying to manipulate you into thinking that, you should give up that because, they're going to use some kind of subscription-based service, but that's not something that I want. I don't want the AI that I plan on designing and stuff to be subscription-based. I want it to be something that, you just install at your own device or whatever, and that's it, And maybe it's just the core personality is what you buy. And, you can do stuff like integrate it with a doll. You can integrate it with your computer, with your phone, stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm going for, your own personal assistant. And maybe you can flirt with it and whatever you want to do. Because like I said, it is going to be integrated with the doll. So, yes, you guys know what's up. I've talked about dolls before. So, you guys know that I'm about that life. I know that sounds so dumb to say. That sounds like such a freaking ghetto trash thing to say. I'm about that life. But that's pretty much all the context that I could think to say that with, I think that guys having some kind of alternative, a true alternative, would be nice. It would be appropriate and it would really help a lot of guys, get over it, get over this loneliness period. And if they want to explore human interaction, they have the choice. But if they don't want to explore human interaction and they're just kind of over it and stuff like that, then hey, they'll have this AI. And I think that that's good. A lot of people want to see that as some kind of dystopian future, but my thing is this. It's going to happen whether you like it or not, right? So at least let there be a few people who are not freaking insane, who are not all about money grubbing and stuff like that, who are saying, all right, here's an option, that isn't going to obliterate your pockets. I'm not after your money. I'm not doing this. I'm just doing this for something that I can be proud of, That's something that I can think of. It's like manga and anime, right? In today's day and age, a whole bunch of people who are now that it's mainstream, they think that every freaking manga and anime is good and it's good quality and all this stuff, but old timers and stuff like that, and people who have been around, we know, dude, the writing in these shows is completely horrendous. It's terrible. It's terrible. Compare just the average shonen coming out right now to something like Death Note. It ain't even close. It's just not even close. So that's just the way that I see it. That's just me. But I think I'm going to pretty much close with this, right? I think having the right priorities in life in general will lead you to make the correct decisions, right? You had bad priorities. I'm going to use my first example in terms of what I was talking about, and then, my second example, right? You had bad priorities when you didn't have money, and you didn't fix those priorities as you got money in terms of a six-figure salary. And so your priorities are still going to lead you to bleeding money, right? You have money, but you can't keep it. Now, in terms of air quotes purpose in life and stuff like that, I can't really give anyone their own purpose. I think that's something that you have to wonder about and ask about, and find out what it is that keeps you here for as long as you do, And for me, I've wondered about that purpose after a while. And I've wondered, okay, even if I get, my own place and I reach, air quotes, a financial equilibrium where even if I'm not super rich, I'm just comfortable, right? What do I do then, right? Because I'm not going to have kids. I'm not going to have a wife and stuff like that. I'm just not interested in that stuff. And I've realized I do not like men being marginalized. I don't like being seen as everything that is wrong with the world merely because I was born with a dick and balls. I don't like that. I don't like looking at my friend in the emotional turmoil that he has, and the only other person he could talk to is me. But even then, there are things about him that he wouldn't reveal to me. There are things about me that I wouldn't reveal to him. So maybe if I can create an alternative, more nuanced, understanding, and empathetic AI companion. All people who desire it will have the option to have someone that they can talk to, that will understand them, and they don't have to worry. Because a lot of people are going to say, well, why don't you just go to therapy? Oh, geez, it's almost like, paying $300 per hour to have someone listen to my problems. It sure does sound like they care about my problems and they care about my personality, right? Because I'm sure they do it for minimum wage. Yeah, I thought so. But, yeah, that's my priority about that. And I think when it comes to having these priorities, it will help give you perspective on, what gives your life a bit of meaning, what gets you out of bed in the morning. And so I think this is going to be it. I think this is something that I can be proud of, and I think it could help quite a bit of people. Of course, this could be, manipulated, and God help me if I, succeed and whatnot, then I get CIA'd or FBI'd, right? So that would be funny as crap, right? That'd be funny as crap. I'm over here about to succeed and help all these marginalized men, and I just get just skull expanding gif, right? That's that'd be effed up, but it'd be pretty ironic because stuff like that happens. You guys know that it does. Someone's on the precipice of a groundbreaking discovery. Next thing you know, they go missing. So I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting indeed. But that's something I could be proud of. But I'm going to go ahead and end this here. I'm still out looking for jobs. I did get a call from a McDonald's. Interestingly enough, in Jacksonville, apparently, they do a lot more walk-in interviews. Instead of you filling out applications, they call you, and they'll be like, hey, listen, I'm doing walk-ins. You can just come in at this time. So I'm just going to start calling places a lot more and just asking if they do that, because that's a heck of a lot better than trying to just fill applications online with all these ghost jobs going around. So hopefully one of these will lead to something. I will keep you guys updated. Thank you all for watching. Please, guys, hang in there. Keep fighting. Like I said before, there is life behind your suffering. There's life past your pain. And if you just take, that way out, you might not be able to recognize it. And I know that it's hard to see. Again, I was homeless before, but currently I'm not. And listen, that could change. But the fact of the matter is, I was homeless before, and right now I'm not. That could change right now, but right now it's not. Change does happen, so don't be afraid to live longer enough to see it happen. That's all I'm going to say. God bless. I'll see you next time.